What is going on, guys? I'm talking with my hands because I'm going to be handy today. I don't know if that made any sense, but but it made sense in my head. So today, what should I do? What should I do? I guess I can go ahead and continue the progress that we left off yesterday. I've got some music blasting in the headphones. It's a old Ed Sheeran song, but it is just blasting. So I'm going to turn that down. It's the one ripped jeans on the side of a no see, whichever one that is. But it's just the instrumental. It's just the instrumental. Okay, so the thing we left off on the last episode was, I believe this, no, base completed task. And the idea was to actually have some sort of task project associated with the task, which makes sense. So how is this going to make sense? I think, or excuse me, a task category. That's what it was, not a task project. That's a much larger thing that we need to consider. But the task category itself is much, much smaller. Okay, so we already have that in our type, which is great, because then we can push that to the backend. And I guess we can also have this thing that not all tasks need to be in a category, that they can just be part of a general pool, I suppose, or a general category pool, which is different from the backlog. Backlog tasks are just going to be kind of anything, right? So let's go to our Kanban page one more time. I really don't want to spend too much time here in the Kanban page, but we, in sense of going back to the task controller, this is all for the dashboard, right? Because we ultimately want to see task projects here. So the thing we need to start pushing to the database then is going to also be, instead of a task name, we also need to get a task category. Task category. I don't know why we're not just using the shorthand syntax on all this stuff, but we're here now. We're here now. So we need to send that from the store, post that, and as well, that needs to be an updated thing as well. So if task category, task category, excuse me, go ahead and pop that in there for the update as well. So we need to adjust both the, and the schema looks like. So both update and post, and then also looks like we need to add it to the schema. I am not going to say it's required, and I'm going to put it below the task priority. I don't think it's a higher priority than the task priority, pun intended. But I need to get one of those streaming things. Sorry guys, I'm going to put this on airplane mode, so I don't get any calls or anything that like instantly stops filming. So it's on airplane mode now, but I should get one of those streaming panels where it like has music and like, you know, stuff I can hit, like a one of those horns or something would be so fun. One thing at a time though, folks. I think step one is just keep on this mission, and we'll add those things as they come. Okay, so this let me think about this task store. We need to push task category, and I think I'm just going to make it a string just to keep it easy. So anybody can declare a category when they make a new task. And let me think about it for half a second. It makes sense that they can make a category when they post a task. So if we go back to our column, and we're going to need to add that as well. So task category and task column name will have, oh, no, we didn't bring it over. Task category and set task category. And it's just going to be a string as we mentioned. So this is going to be something that people can custom hand put in with their task when they send it in. And then we can just group them by category. And maybe on the Kanban page, even have like some sort of drop down where they could select out of the categories that exist. Potentially. I don't know if we want to like limit the number of categories. I think it just depends on how we want to play the game, you know? So we'll say task category string. Like, is it going to be an array type thing, or is it going to be a string type thing? Is kind of where my brain is considering stuff right now. So let's see. We'll go to the task store, handle update task category. We're bringing it in. Task priority. It's going to go after task priority. We've already decided that. Okay. Task column name. Let's see. Boom. That should fix that error. Okay, great. And task category, we're going to pop it in here as string. Boom. Task store handle post task. Okay, so it's almost done. The last thing we need to do is just add a way to set this. So if we go back to our forms, let's, and I suppose we need to add it here as well. Task category. I feel like I'm one abstraction too deep here. I forget why we needed all this, but that's right. The workaround was going to be put the task, like all this logic, into the task store. So just whenever I post a task, there's always going to be some sort of task loader associated to the posting and deleting of task. But not today. We're going to focus more on this. Let's see. So base input, base dropdown, and this will be task category. And we'll pop in set task category here. Set task category and name, say category. This should work relatively good, right? So priority, is that for update? That is for update. Okay, so we have it here. And placeholder, we need to pop in there as well, category. And we need to add a similar thing for the post. And I think that's it. I think that might be it. And then of course on the last thing we can do is query it from the backend. And let's just show it. Task category right next to the task name. So we're going to see none because there's none with the task category. But let's make a task and we'll say with category, with cat for short. We'll have a medium priority. Category we'll say Kanban. And we'll go ahead and say in progress. Nice, folks. Working like a charm. So the cool thing is we can now take this task category and I'm going to say, I guess I didn't need the curlies with it, but I'm going to pop it in here actually and slice the first. So it will look like, what's it called? It will look a little bit like the Kanban thing from what's it called? From gosh, I'm blanking right now. Jira. And then if we don't have it, I don't want to show it. I just want to show the task ID. So maybe instead, if it doesn't have it, we can just show. I got it, folks. I got it. We'll say gen dash, just for general. So hopefully that works. So we can now decipher, okay, this is the task that we're completing. So now we can start kind of associating Git pushes and things with it. And I do want to, actually, I won't say the next thing I'm going to do because it might be a lot more work. But I was thinking of another component that I want to add, but it's going to be a lot more work. But the point is now we can categorize task at least within this project. So it's a category, but still within these batches of tasks, if that makes sense. But we can now decipher different batches of tasks. So we could say this one's associated to this one's associated to this, make divs draggable. So maybe we'll say that's the Kanban, right? So we can go ahead and update that. I think it should just sweet. So, and then let's like add a new task that's not the Kanban. So we can say we could say base, what was it? Base teams, team card, or base table, base task table. This is going to belong to the dashboard category. And we'll say priority like low, maybe in progress. Boom. Okay, so that should be enough for us to work with. Let's see if that popped up and worked. I think it should. Nice. Dash DAS. Folks, this is just going swimmingly. You know what I mean? Let's pop over back to the dashboard and see what we can do now so we can look at the completed task. Oh, and then I guess I need to add some of these as init repos, general, blast through and celebrate episode 7, implement clerk. Let's look at some layout, Next.js. Let's just delete this one for now. Don't need it. Base task table, front end modal. We're going to make this part of the Kanban category. And we'll have to measure all of the, I don't want it to wrap ever. But what we're going to have to do is measure all of the Kanban category tasks and then the ones compared to the ones completed in the done column. So the similar thing that we did with the completion, the thing on the dashboard page where it's like 82% complete or whatever, we're going to have to do the same thing, but white space, let's say no wrap. Don't want that to wrap at all. Okay. But we're going to have to do a subset of all tasks. We need to filter for now these project tasks, and then out of all tasks, we need to filter for the ones that, so the ones that exist in the done column associated to this label, and then the ones that are, what's it called? All total Kanban task or whatnot. So we need to just change a few of these. Let's just get our data somewhat right so we can play around with it, make sure it's all working. So make function for task. We'll also make that the Kanban thing. I need to, when I update, we need to clear the columns, but this is working great for this. Make IDs for tasks, transfer task into DB. We'll just, no, we'll say that's a Kanban. Actually, no, we'll make that nothing. Color code priorities. This will be a Kanban thing. Kanban. And so the point is we need enough tasks in different parts of the entire thing. Align with DB, organize the backend, get reactivity back. Let's go ahead and update this to in progress. But we need enough tasks to track to say, okay, this one's done out of the Kanban. If we have 1 out of the 10 Kanban tasks done, we can like roughly see that the percentage is working. And then we also want to do that with the dashboard thing, so we can just see, let's see, make functions for columns. We'll undeniably put that in the Kanban. And this is going to be in progress. I'm loving this, that we actually have a modal that works now instead of having to do like the earlier episodes. Whoo! Whoo! We'll say init dashboard page, just to give us a little bit of material. And priority low, and we'll put it part of dashboard. Status in progress. Boom. Okay. So now we have some tasks to kind of look at and work with. And I also, while I was running today, love it. I thought of more functionalities for the front end here, but we won't do that. It's going to be a good user experience though for the ideas I had. Let's go ahead and build this component out. And what I wanted to actually do is populate all these cards. So right now it's each one of those cards are individually hard coded in there, but we want to actually run through a loop and construct the array ourselves, pass it into this to populate as many cards as we need for as many different projects there are. So I hope that makes sense, but I don't want to have to hard code and like have people name like this project. It's just when they create a task that has a project, boom, another card should also populate and build itself. It'll make more sense when I do it. Maybe I didn't explain that really well. It makes sense in my brain. Give me a sec. I'll do it. Don't yell at me, guys on the other end who probably aren't yelling at me. You're just probably watching like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, so dashboard page. Let's see. I would also I looked into Restream where I could get streams going live. I think that would be really fun too. I just couldn't get roasted live. It would just crush me while I was doing the thing. You know what I mean? Base completed task. We can still keep it that, I think. Yeah, let's keep it that, and then in here we will do all the magic. So this will be our thing. We'll say percentage task card or something. Percentage task card, I guess. Percentage project card. Something that roughly denotes that it's going to be unique to each project that exists, I suppose. So we're going to use that, and it's going to be looped through according to our data. So we're going to have, oh, this is going to be such an interesting build, but I'm kind of pumped for it. So let's think about this, folks. Calculate task complete. So this function itself needs to kind of be a prop that we pass into here, into an object. Because what this is going to end up being is it needs to be an array of these. So let me think how this would work. Const data project cards. Maybe that's a good name for them. Project cards. Okay, so boom. Here we go. We'll say project name. This one's just completed task, right, for the first one. And then we'll say percentage of project completed. And this is where I'm passing in this function, right? But we need this to be like, this is just for completed task. And we need this array to automatically populate for the project name. So we need to build a function for that filters all of the different projects. And I think how to do that is going to be, let's see, if I take this, put it here, and we don't want length, we want projects, total projects, or all projects maybe. I think this is going to work, guys. I really do. And we're going to need to import some states. Okay. So const, we'll say projects, which is just going to be an array of strings. That's all we need it to be. Oop, not double array. Projects and set projects. And the idea is I want to filter out all of the projects that exist, and we're going to push them into this array. I think is roughly where my brain is going. I can't believe we're already 18 minutes in, and the other day we just flossed through like 2 functionalities in 18 minutes. That was just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so last status, we don't want task status. We want task category. But we don't want to filter them either. We just want to map them, right? Task, let's think about this. Task category. But we don't need to map them either because they're already here. So this is just what we want to render in our project cards, right? Because this is ultimately going to be our, let me see. This is like roughly what I'm thinking, right? It's like all projects dot map project. Let's of course do this and arrow function into it. And what did we just pass in? And it's gonna be the project here. But in a weird way, this is going to recursively kind of take a function, and it's going to be this function, right? project percentage completed, and that's going to go here. So we're having some heavy kind of functionality and intelligence going on here that I'm like trying to use my brain as best as possible right now, guys. Give me a hot sec. Give me a GIF. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. I know it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. So if this is all projects, if we do project dot task, what would that do? Breaks the application. Okay, what about task category? Because is the project, is that just task? Oh, I need to return task category. Whoops. Okay. Project, how about this? Okay, cool. So these are going to be all of our projects, and we just want to filter anything that duplicates itself. So we only want, maybe we do want to utilize our good dear intern. Can you filter any repeating projects with the same task category name? Push them to projects. Oh, okay. And let me just add an array here. So we're going to have ChatGPT do that, and I'm going to still figure out how we need to percentage function, I think is what we'll call this. And I have no idea what type the function is, but that's what's going to be right here. So we're going to have to build either a function or calculate the percentages on render. This is hurting my brain, guys, and to top it off, I'm not running on the best sleep either. So my brain is like, it's moving at like half an RPM, like whoosh, whoosh. But nonetheless, we will figure it out. We will figure it out. Okay. Okay, looks like you can make a unique set. That's what it looks like to do. So all projects and just boom, make a set. Just wondering how sets work. Unique projects. Oh, and we need to change that to array here. As string if this exists, right? What is our error? What is our error? Type string is not assignable to set state action type string. Okay, well, if we just pull this out, how about this? Const all projects equals boom. And this is going to return void. So we really should actually hoist it by turning it to a function. Well, it's always going to return void. We're not doing anything. We're just setting here. So boom. Still getting that issue. Unique project type string is still not assignable to this. Okay. Okay. So project cards, this is just going to be, I guess project name is not, that's what this is going to be. So we almost need to push it in here as an object and make our projects instead of a string. How do we make it an array of objects? Like an array of objects called project name, right? String and percentage, and I have no idea what type this will be. Local function that returns a string, I suppose. So I don't know if we type it like this. Does that work? Okay, cool. That does work. Unique projects, and then of course we just changed the type, so it's not going to be that. What we do need to do is actually pass it in as an object. And we need to set the project name here. We could set it all. I think let me think how to do this, guys. Trying to think with the dippy on the fly, but it's sometimes a little bit tough. Okay, string. Okay, it looks like that will work. And then if we can, let's get this loop out of there for now, and we'll just do projects.map project. And let's just see if we can render out all of our projects here, because we also need to attach the general project to. Okay, it's not working. Something's not working, guys. I'm not sure if it is because we don't have a key. Oh, Kanban dashboard. Okay, sweet. Sweet. So it is working. And then we need to actually append. That's why I do like the map thing. If we can actually map. How can I do this? How can I do this? I know how to do it in computed functions with. So can I say unique projects and general? So unique projects, if I can. How about const with general? Unique projects dot map, right? Say project, and we'll return. How do we do this? How do we do this? I think it's return an object with all the project, right? We need to return, I believe, and say add general in there as well. I think something like that. And we might need to go project, boom. Is that how you do it? Is that how you do it? I just want to stash. Maybe I don't need these curlies. Pretty sure I do though. Maybe these are the ones I don't need. Can you add this general string to the array? Thought that was roughly how to do it. But basically I want the same object, what it's always going to return, plus this general string, because we're always going to have a general, like the whole project, how is it completed? Oh, it looks like I need to say general, but I don't want it to be part of. I don't want it to be part of this. I want it to be part of the project, right? Like. So let's see what happens if we push that in there and refresh. I don't want it to be like this where you have to access general also, right? Which is what it looks like we're doing. It's saying dot project. I just want it to be part of this. So maybe I could just add general in here with it, right? Will that work? That seems like a simple fix, potentially. And we can just say project, because I think we're going to end up needing to do that, like adding the function to this object, which is going to be an interesting thing, right? So we have general. I saw it pop up, and it was gone. And it was gone, folks. Try this one more time. Okay, unique project. No, we're not working. Why? Projects, all projects. Oh, okay, that's why. That would be why. No? Okay. We're setting the project. Oh, I see. If I did return unique projects. Let me try this real quick. Let's see if this works. Why is it now saying that this is not a possibility to do? I thought it was working. I thought it was working earlier, and it was working. Right? This was working, wasn't it? What the heck, folks? What the heck? So projects, we're setting all the unique projects. Unless it's not working because we're not awaiting this, right? And if that's the case, then we will just put this at the bottom of the code loop and we'll say init. I should say async init. It's a good catch. And then now it'll run that one time. Okay, perfect. So it fetches the task and it won't do the all projects function until it fetches the task. So that solved that. Or did it? Never mind. It didn't solve that, folks. It didn't solve that. So we need to let's see what the bug is. Should be fetching. Huh. Weird. Await task store. Do I need to await all projects? Seems arbitrary. Let me see when this is running. Let's say console log. Running. Okay, let's try to not debug too much, right? I don't want to do that, but I do just want it loading on page load. And conveniently, our console ninja just started working again. That's amazing. Because I do love that. Okay, I really thought this would work, but the fact that we can at least make it render on page for now, I can figure out those bugs behind the scenes. Let's at least just get this object where it's returning the name where, because we basically need to append, or we need to make this. We need to make this array. We have the array just with strings in it. But what we need to do is new set. Maybe I can return this as an object. Let's see. Return this as an object, and I can say project.name here. And this is no longer going to be taking the string. This is going to be taking that object that we had constructed earlier. So I think that's, project.name. Excuse me. String. Great. And now when we set that as, not as a string, but as an array of project.name, let's just say type projects type equals project.name string, and then what do we call this percentage of project completed? Was going to be a function with a capital F. So then now we have this type. Oh, and it's going to be an array of those, right? So boom. And maybe it's going to say you don't have a function here. Not assignable to this. Conversion project name string undefined is not assignable to that. Okay. If unique. How about that if we just do this? And what if we just get this out for now and not worry about the function? Let's just worry about the type. Passing in an object. It should be an object, right? How? Okay, we'll throw this to the intern. Can you make this work? So there's just a logic error here. I think passing in a set is going to be different than an object. I think. So if we did this, would this work? No. Okay, so set objects with object IDs. You can't directly use set with object. Okay, thought so. Need to learn more about sets. You need to reduce and use an accumulator. Yikes. That's a lot more. It's a lot more work. Okay, let's see. Boom. Project name still you can't do, right? Project name string undefinable is not assignable to that. What if we did as string and refreshed? So now we have all projects. If we map this, how does this look? All projects. No. So we still can't. Oh, because we need to access the project name now. Nice. Okay, so this does allow for us to build a accumulator.push, task stores reduce, a accumulator. Okay. I feel like this is not the way to do it though. I really do feel like task stores.task reduce. But it is working. Accumulator find index of this less than 0. It just seems like we should be able to build all task object, right? With going to the task store, mapping the task, and if we take task dot filter, okay, you know what? We're not going to do all that stuff. Let's filter. What is it? Filter. We could push them all to an array, but there's gonna be way too many tasks actually. So this is maybe the best thing to do is put them to a reducer that just checks for a unique category. And then we also need to pass in the function to calculate task completed. So, so I'm thinking that this function is going to need to accept something. Let's not think about this function. We're building the project cards here, so let's delete that. But this function is going to need to accept what type of task it's filtering for. So if it's comparing the general task, because we have like total task, so it's task store task. But we need to filter. You know what? This also doesn't add the general one. It still doesn't add that. What if we did that project name? Because if we do the general one and actually have a function associated just for the general one, that would kind of be easier. But Basically what I'm saying is that when we end up building this object, we're going to need to have a general, which is going to filter a different case of data versus the rest of them. The rest of them will all have the same data layout because we're going to pass in a, what's it called? Like a identifier. Hey, the task category associated to Kanban. Filter the total of Kanbans versus the completed ones, right? And we can do that, and we can steal that and copy it for every single one. But the one it won't work for is the general. That's where we're going to have to return basically a different function. But I'm not terribly worried about it. It's just we're going to have to consider it as a different thing because it's going to be all the task versus each card after that is just going to be task associated to a certain filter. Or however we want to frame it. But they're going to be two pieces of data. Like there's going to be the one card for the general, and then the rest of them are going to follow the same format. So calculate task complete, we could pass it in here and then just pass in kind of all these other ternaries to say, hey, if the task project name is called general, use this set of functions, else use this set of functions for everything else. But the easier thing to do, in my mind, would just be to have the percentage complete function here if we can make this object work. So accumulator push. If I did projects, what would that do? General. Nice. There we go. There we go. So let's refresh. Make sure we're knitting the thing. General, Kanban, general. Okay, I see. I see. So that is going to push it with everything. We could do a cheap thing of saying like if the index is 0, just do this push and then else do, maybe we could try that, right? Else, and we'll get rid of the projects. We're not pushing that in there, the original state. Index is defined, but it's never declared. I'm trying to use it right here, folks. Okay, let's not do that then. Let me think. Because it gets in there, but it's shown on page load also. So can I just push it in? If it's going to, what if I did a knit, let's see, if task store.tasks, how about this? So does that, we almost wanted to wait for the task store to do it. So what if we did this? If no task store.task refetch, and basically we'll do some sort of function here, but then set timeout to dummy our await, right? Say like fetch it after another second. So on load, boom, doesn't have any task. Wait. It's done nothing. It's done nothing. Is it because the projects haven't rendered on the DOM yet? So if, can we wait to mount everything until we have the data? I don't like that problem. I really don't. It's vaguely annoying. I don't want to push in project every time. I just want to do it on the first go. So if project length, oh, maybe I could do that, right? So if project's length equals 0, do this version, else do this version, right? So basically on the first one, I just want to, and maybe we don't even have to keep it in there as the hard code. We'll just pop it in there as an object here. And we will make it an array initially. Boom. Let's see. So if the length is 0, first push it in with this general tab. And then if not, let's see. Boom. General. Oh, no, I don't want it twice. I don't want it twice. No. I thought that would have been it, folks. Okay, let's try coming back. See if it loads. Come on, come on. But basically all I want to do is just literally append a general thing to the first of every, because we might have different projects, right? There's no definitive thing of saying what the projects will be. It might not be Kanban for other users. It might not be dashboard for other teams. It might not be, it could be anything, right? So, but general, we always want with all those things. So the idea is we want to append this general thing and then whatever people customize themselves. So, and then we'll test it real quick. We'll go to the Kanban and make some task and then see if it'll update a new thing, like add a new card or a new category for us. Can you make this work? I want to append a general project name to the start of every projects array. Is there an easier way to do this? More than likely there is. So I guess ChatGPT took a writing exam recently and had an IQ of 155, which is nuts. I don't think it's like that in everything, and there's times where it's not obviously the smartest, but that's pretty nuts. That is pretty nuts, folks. So let's see, task. Okay, let's see what it's saying. If accumulator index, find item, unique product. Oh, it's just unshifting. Sometimes I wish I took more comp sci courses, because that would be like a easy, oh, just part of your algorithm. Just do this. Okay, let's see. Task store.task. What would happen if we pass that in here? Let's see if we're re-rendering. I feel like we're not, which is good. Okay, I think that fixed our problem. Great. And our dependency array. Awesome. Awesome. So we have our general thing. We have our Kanban. Now our dashboard. Let's go ahead and make a new task. And we'll say new category. New cat again. Say medium. And new category. We'll say this one's for teams, right? In progress or to do. How about that? And in theory, this should build a teams. Let's go, folks. Let's freaking go. But this is only half the battle, I will say. This is only half the battle. So we're going to pass this in here instead of project name. Let's pass in project card. Oh, I meant to cover that in curlies, and we'll say project.project name. We will need to figure out what I would argue the probably harder part. Project name. Project name. Actually, we can say this will be project type here. And it's not used, hence the error, and boom. Okay, so now we should see some cards, I think. Project.name as string, right? No, is that not? Let's just pass this in as string. What is going on? Project name does not exist on type string. What do you mean? What do you mean? I see it with my own eyes. My own eyeballs. This is all we're trying to do here, folks. Just pass this in here then. Maybe we don't need to make it a fancy dancy nested thing. We can just do projects.project name, right? So project.project name. And we'll need some sort of key. Maybe we can get rid of this. That should, perfect. So we do see all these. Okay, and then we'll maybe have some like framer motion div for overscroll. Framer motion, side scroll. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Nice little scroll bar on the top. I like it. I like it. So framer motion, scroll progress. Okay, let's go ahead and pop that in here. Components. Pretty sure we have framer motion downloaded. Why? Oh, they're just not being used. Is that the error? And single quotes. Okay. Framer motion. And I guess we can kind of delete this. If we can figure out this calculated function by the task name, we're in there, folks. We are in there. So return div. Can this div have? Can it have children? That's the question. I feel like it can. So let's go ahead and just wrap this all right here, and we will just pull this out. We'll pop it in actually right here. Okay, I think that should get us going. Let's see. Of course, it's a vertical scroll, so we want scroll on the, where's our thing? Scroll on the y-axis, and imagine we can flex, right? Huh. Oh, scale X, scroll Y progress. So we'll scroll. There's scroll X progress. Is that a thing? Okay. You know what? We're just going to do a trusty old div. Class name flex, right? And we'll say overflow scroll. And forgive me, I'm not sure if this needs a wrapper div now. Which it might need a container around it, right? So this one should not be. Want the projects map overflowing off screen. Gosh, I really do use ChatGPT so much. But I love it. I love it. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic tool. Literally a fantastic tool. So, okay. So the next thing we want to somewhat configure is going to be project name here. Oh, this is going to be a whole other thing. Why is this one blank? Is the question. Why do we get a blank one? Unique projects do not push if there's no name, right? Which I thought it did. Unique projects dot filter. Project dot project name equals nothing. We don't want it. We don't want it, folks. Let me sit on that for a second. We are going to pop this in here and see if this fixes our side scroll problem. Boom. Overflow X, it does not, because we need to go to the page above it, it looks like, and say overflow X auto or X scroll. We really don't want it to be that big, right? We want it to be, there we go. Okay. I see. So this actually might be some issue up here potentially. Nope. No, that's definitely that issue. Okay. Interesting. So maybe if we wrap this with a wrapper, I know sometimes the DOM does weird things like this. Let's see. With 1/2, nope, okay. We're gonna have to either figure out either an overflow scroll or we can do a grid, you know, just a flex wrap, right? And this really should handle itself to some degree, right? This is where it's all, oh, I see. We had a div there, which will mess up the flex wrap. Okay, boom, there we go. There we go, and then we can just mess with the spacing here, right? Can you put class name on components in React? I know the rules are just a little bit different. Don't think so. Okay. It's okay. Give it a wrapper and boom. So flex dash this, and we'll say gap dash 4, so everything kind of gets its own little space. And that's awesome because now we can see all of these like different projects that our portfolio has, and maybe we don't need that many, but it should definitely flex wrap above. Like it should always be sideways, to be honest. It shouldn't. We should probably figure out the side scroll, to be honest, instead of just not doing it, but just confused on sometimes when the DOM does things like this where, oh, is that it? Is that literally it? Is that all we needed? But see, it like still makes the element, like it's still registering that the element's out like this size. So the DOM does weird things sometimes. It's not just me, folks. I promise. But gap 4, this is what we pretty much want though, is like some sort of scrollable where no scroll bars. Pretty awesome. And then the last thing to configure is going to be that just feel like it really shouldn't be going on beyond this, right? What if we class name relative and this was absolute? What would happen there? Nice, there we go. Okay, so maybe that is our solution, is do a little bit of something, right? Instead of width 1/2, we could say width full. Boom, folks. Boom. There we go. That should handle it still. Perfect. Nice. Okay. And can we get the side scroll working? Does Framer Motion have a scroll Y progress where we just measure the X progress? Is that a thing? Because that would be really pretty. You know, I think that would. Also with scrolling stuff, I think it's kind of important to kind of consider it, because what if people don't realize that you can scroll, right? Like that's a serious thing. Like if they don't know that, right, then why would they scroll? Or they might be thinking, well, where's the rest of the things? You know, it's really the little things in my mind that add up, I think, when I can add them. So let's see if this works. You can pass in children here, see if that works. Children is not the type of children element in React Node. Interesting. Export functional default base. Okay, we'll just go back to stealing this then. Motion div, right? Scroll Y progress. Let's pop it out here. See if we can at least register the thing somehow, right? Scroll Y progress. What about scroll X progress? What if we just... Looks like they don't have scroll X, but there was something scroll X, right? There's scroll X. Something scroll X, right? So let's see what this does. Maybe it'll render, maybe it won't. Let's try one more time. And off to the intern comes. Can you fix this framer motion so it registers side scroll? Boom. All right. And the last thing we need to figure out is still this project name thing. So we could always pass in the task completed here. And then if we just pass in the project name, it should return, right? Return what we need. So I think that's the possibility here. Project name as string. Oh, I destructured it. How about this? How about this? Okay. And task store filter, project name. So we said last status here. What was this all about? Last status. Okay, it is task status. And we need task store task filter. Oh, this is going to be a bit tricky to hold on though. Let's see what ChatGPT did for this. Boom, scroll X, use motion view. Use motion value, excuse me. And we have a use effect that's going to go into here. And it looks like we just steal this and pop this here. Okay. Let's see. No love on the use ref. Do need to import that. And no love on the element itself. Scroll container ref. See what the error is. It's possibly null. If no scroll container ref, just return. Nice. How about this? Scroll left. I think that's why, right? Scroll width. Seems like a ridiculous thing to do. It's possibly null. Okay. Scroll container ref. We'll just start at 0 then. How about that? So it's never null. Add event listener does not exist on type number. No. Okay. Okay, folks. We're gonna toss the framer motion thing out of the thing right now. It's not the biggest priority. The functionality is going to be the biggest thing right now. So let's just get back to the thing working. Scroll. Okay, we're coming on an hour, so I do want to get this thing up and running again. Nice, we're there. We have our Kanban. I don't want task. If tasks don't exist, there's something I don't want them to be there. But let's think about this. So if project name equals general, do this, right? Else, we need to do another thing. So number of completed tasks by category. So I think we're going to do the same thing basically, but we just need to filter them first. Filtered task by category. And what I can do is say task store dot task dot filter and task dot task category equals the project name. I think that's what we're going to look for here. So, we want task. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. That's the project name. And then we want to take that and then do the same exact thing here, basically. Oh, didn't want to delete it. My fault. But again, I think we can. Number of completed tasks. Number of completed tasks by category. Okay. Let's try that out for size. And we're going to say const. Oh, no. Forgive me. That needs to be that const. That still needs to be filtered task by category. And this needs to be const this equals boom, filter task by category. Okay, I think that is what we needed. And boom, filter number completed task by category. I think that is what we needed, folks. Money. All right, let's go complete a task in the teams section. So we'll say teams complete. And priority high. We'll say teams. We should also make it the task to lower status. So anybody types in there, or maybe like you can have an input and a select. We'll have to do that or some variation of it. So let's make sure it's in the column, which I'm sure it is. Or it's not. Did I put in the to-do? Teams completed. Oh, I did put in the to-do. I must have. Okay, so done. Boom. Let's pop it over to the column and check that it's in there. Teams completed. Nice. And we should see some sort of percentage on the teams now. We do. And if we do the same to the dashboard, let's pick a dashboard task. Let's pick a dashboard. Ooh, and we just finished it. We're shoot, what was it? Init dashboard page? I guess so. That's right, 2.44%. Looks like we have the same amount of tasks across the board, or we're not doing something correct. So let me just double check. We'll say dashboard task. Check by testing, right? And what was it? Oh, dashboard. Dashboard task. Let's create it. Say it's done. Oh, you know what? I think it defaults to to-do list whenever we create a task. Is that what's going on here? Or did it go? No, it did go to it. Okay, let's see. Dashboard 4.76. And I'm going to do another dashboard task. -2. And let's just go ahead and say dashboard. $6.998. Okay, and then let's finish what was the other one? Teams. T. But we don't have that many tasks, so it shouldn't be filtering by all of them. It should be filtered by a much smaller amount. So I'm a little bit weary of how that's working then, because maybe it's not fully working. It looks like it's doing the math by total task. Oh, which is still total task, which needs to be this number actually. That's a good catch, folks. Or maybe it's not, we're going to need both. So we'll have concert filtered task by category, and then we'll say, actually I'll just say filtered total task dot length. I think that's the bug that we were just looking at, because those tasks shouldn't be 2%. They're like almost done. Yeah. Okay, perfect. There we go. That looks about right. Folks, that is cool, because now we can like literally monitor the progress of saying like, okay, the Kanban is actually like 20% done, assuming we're staying relatively up to date to the task and stuff. But that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So I'm going to write, don't know what we broke right here. Loading chunk on page, app page failed. I'm going to say my thing. Let's see, boom. I'm going to say, project completion, I think, is a good use of this. Project completion. That's a cool component, guys. I'm digging that one. I don't think I've seen that in very many. I don't know, is that a thing in task trackers? Feels unique. So I'm pretty pumped on it at the very least. Let's gap these pages just a little bit apart. I don't want them to. Oh, that's not where we wanted it. But rather here, I believe, the left and right side. I just want more space here. Folks, I like it. That's going to wrap up the episode, though, now that we can add new things. And again, we could probably polish it off. So I'll actually add a task for that. Polish dashboard page. And I really need to go through some of these tasks too. So I'll probably do that behind the scenes, because I don't want them all to be stacked up all over the place. I want them to kind of all be on the done section. I don't want our to-do list to just be ridiculously long. Not right now, because I also have a front-end UI UX solution for that. So maybe we'll say front-end UI UX solution. I'll know what it is, and this will be for the Kanban page. And task status, we will say to do. Folks, thank you so much for joining another episode. A lot of progress made here on the dashboard page. just monitoring project length, and perhaps we don't actually have to initialize a project database if we can kind of use the task to streamline it. So I'll think about it though. I'll chat with my buddy. He's very, very, very smart. So yeah, but thank you so much.